What's going on, everybody? Brad and Greta Zude, Parenting with the Zudes podcast. And on this episode, we're actually going to discuss one of the last videos that we did about toys for toddlers. More importantly, the LOL surprise dolls, and if they're appropriate for children or not. It was crazy. That video completely lost our minds, and we want to unpack it some more. Talk about some of the comments, talk about the dolls, what's appropriate for children. If you're a Christian, are there Christian toys for toddlers? Like, what dolls should my kids play with? Action figures, all that kind of stuff. So if you're there on YouTube, welcome. We're so happy to have you. You are viewing us live in studio, and you get to see the wonderful Miss Greta. And if you're joining us on iTunes, welcome there as well. You can head over to YouTube and see us live and in person. But boy, that video was a real banger, as they say in the industry. So kind of one of the things that I do is I wake up almost every day and all throughout the day, and I check Google Trends. So if you ever really want to see what's important in the world, you can go to trends.google.com.
What's important in the world?
Well,
or what's
popular.
What's popular.
Popular, yes. And so I check that every day. And then if there's something related to parenting, we like to cover it. And there was this video of this woman who was dunking these little LOL dolls in water, and their secret spy outfit, quote unquote, was appearing. And basically, AKA underwear and lingerie and
really,
just like
stuff.
Just really racy stuff.
Yeah, not good.
And it sparked like the biggest internet debate in the world. Like, moms on both sides of the equations were losing their minds. We had, in one corner, we had moms who thought that it was super fine and super appropriate, and you know, this is how the world works, and boys have this body part and girls have that body part. And just for reference, I'm not afraid to say the words, but I just don't want to say them for YouTube because it hurts the video. So I'm not going to say the P word or the V word, as I got accused of in the comments of being too afraid to say those.
Yes.
So, but then there were moms over here in the other camp, in the conservative camp. They're like, this is awful, and this is promoting sex trafficking and all this kind of crazy stuff. And this is a really big deal in the parenting world. And kind of the core thesis is this okay or not okay? And what are your morals and values? And do you superimpose your morals and values on the toys you buy your children? Or are they just toys? Or does it matter? Or is it just innocence? Or are you being a prude? Or what?
Well, okay, so I kind of want to back up and talk about where I first heard of LOLs. And our 5-year-old came to us one day and she's like, I want an LOL doll. I'm like, LOL? What is an LOL doll? And she, my kids like to watch YouTube sometimes, and YouTube, once you get on something, it suggests other things. And she likes to watch, like, about American Girl doll or Bitty Babies or things like that, and she likes to watch. Or
American Girl doll?
The eating dolls.
Oh, Baby Alive?
Baby Alives. Loves those.
I know my dolls.
Yes, you do. And so she somehow got onto LOLs from watching these, videos about baby dolls, and really was interested in them. And so when you brought this home, like, check this out, I'm like, we are not bringing these into our home. So I want to kind of talk about why. And some of the comments that we got were like, what's wrong with anatomically correct dolls? This is how God made them. Yeah, that's just appropriate, because it's the way people are. But when is that okay, and when is that not okay? So I think, and I think it's a personal decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer.
Right. So when I think about, like, those baby dolls that you see that actually look like babies, that have real parts on them, like, I'm okay with that. Like, looks like a real baby. You know, it's for learning purposes, and it's, you know, it's makes it normal.
What?
You know,
Yeah.
it's normal.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, it's the intent.
Right. But in this doll, these parts don't even look normal.
Okay, so let me hold this up to the camera. We gotta hide our face because it's got like the face focus here. So this is the boy doll.
The boy doll.
Okay, this is the boy doll. We've got short shorts. We've got a belly shirt, and we've got a flower headband or a heart
and a bow
headband, and a bow in the back. This is the boy doll. Okay.
Yeah. Oh boy, I can. We're gonna get the comments on this now. Like, oh, gender, whatever.
Gender shaming.
Gender shaming. Yeah. So the intent of this doll is this doll is very sexualized. It's supposed to be like a baby, like a toddler, right? Like there are the larger ones that look like older dolls, but this one is definitely meant to look like a young person.
Yeah.
Young person. But then we've got just all of these like sexual things on it. And then on top of it, so that's why I'm not okay with the anatomically correct in this way, because there's no point in it. There's no purpose. It's not like normalizing anything. It's just like, oh, for a little girl to see that this has, you know, a little girl that's playing with this to see that, ooh.
Well, maybe when they're making the doll, they're like, well, maybe we have to make something about this a boy. Like maybe like
differentiate it somehow, because you couldn't tell from what this thing is wearing. So I just don't see a purpose for it in here.
Sure.
In this doll. Okay, and then secondly, I wanted to talk about, you know, and I'm sure we're going to get all the backlash from this, but is this what little boys are supposed to look like? Like, is this how little boys are supposed to dress in sparkles and hearts and bows and
belly shirts?
I wouldn't put my little girls in belly shirts either, but this is it's a very effeminate doll.
Sure. Which could be your worldview and could be just fine for you and your family. However, I think that there's this unknown to this particular doll, because, you know, it comes wrapped. It comes, you know, most dolls you see it and they've got the card, you know, the old school, the cardboard box, and you got to untwist the twisty ties so the doll, and the cellophane front, so you can see what the doll is and what you're getting. These, they come in the eggs that are all wrapped up, and you don't know what you're getting. I'm trying to revisualize.
I didn't see the package. Did you even know this was a boy doll that you were getting?
I don't think so.
No, it's a surprise.
Yeah,
It's the LOL surprise doll.
Yeah.
In all ways.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah, and I think that's my biggest issue, is that there are surprising things about this, right? So like if your worldview is, hey, I'm okay with my boys, you know, playing with dolls that are looking like this, okay, that's fine. You have your right to your view. But what I don't like is that if I'm going to go buy, you know, my son or daughter a doll or an action figure, and I get something different than I bargained for. Mm-hmm. That's the issue. So like, knowingly for us and our family, we would never go and buy this doll and ingrain, even though it's a doll, and I don't want to overstate it, but I wouldn't want to ingrain, hey, this is what masculinity looks like in our home. Here, go play with this. I would much more want to knowingly buy something more masculine. I'm just rattling something off the top of my head, but like a G.I. Joe, for example. It would be a strong male, you know, figure kind of thing.
And even for our little girls to see, like, this is what a boy is, you know, and for a girl to not build up men in her mind as manly and strong, and I think this brings that figure down, like to a feminine level. And I'm so thankful that God created man and woman, and we're different. Like, we are different. We have different skills, we have different abilities, we have different bodies, we have different functions. It doesn't make me any less valuable than you in the eyes of God. We just are different.
So exactly. Amen. Hallelujah. I agree completely. And what I think happens is that a majority of the parents out there maybe just don't stop and think like this when they're purchasing toys for their children. Mm-hmm. They may be very well intentioned. They may agree with everything that we're saying. They may be conservative in their values like we are, but yet they might have some of these in their house, and they might just not have thought of these things.
Right. Or they listen to their child who sees LOLs on YouTube and says, I want an LOL.
Right.
And you say, oh, okay, let's get an LOL.
Right.
You know? And
it can happen just like that.
Yeah.
If we're not careful with what we do. So again, the point is that we need to be intentional about the toys that we give our children to play with. Mm-hmm. They mean something. They ingrain things in our children. They are a picture of a worldview. And so influencer parenting, right? We want to become the strongest influence in the life of our child. And one of the ways we do that is the things that we surround our children with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just to think like, okay, what does this say? Mm-hmm. And that's what we mean by, everything has a worldview. Like the creator of this believes something about
men and women,
boys and girls. They believe something about sexuality. They have beliefs. And what is that? And do they align with my beliefs as a parent?
Sure. All the way down to Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, right? Mark Zuckerberg has personal beliefs with a personal agenda, and he promotes that agenda on Facebook. And we just need to be aware, and whether we disagree or not, it almost doesn't matter. We just have to be aware of what's going on and aware of what our children are playing with. And and one could argue, a G.I. Joe, Brad, well, that's guns and murder, and you're supporting, which I could have that conversation as well, but that's a different conversation. One just promotes masculinity more than the other was.
Sure, if we're basing it off of masculinity.
Yes. And so another comment that we had, they're like, well, people have, disliked Barbie for years because, you take her off and she's got huge B words, because I can't say that on YouTube either. And they're like, you've been freaking out for generations and generations. And it's probably true. Barbies were probably as sexualized, back then, just as this was. Part of the difference is that it was not a cross-gender sexualization.
Yeah. We're getting even more and more.
Not that it would be the lesser of two evils.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have Barbies in our house either. So we choose not to have Barbies.
Yeah. So if you're searching for toys for your toddlers, just take that extra minute to do a little bit of research and know what you're getting and understand, see everything through your worldview. And for us, obviously, it's a biblical worldview, and that's what we want to see our toys through, our life through, our filter through, all that kind of stuff.
All right.
All righty. Well, if you're listening on YouTube, a 5-star review would be amazing. And if you're still here on YouTube, thank you so much. You're a super fan. We'll link to that crazy video that we did of dunking the LOL dolls in the water. Here, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.